Hey folks, today is was it Wednesday, Thursday, February 28th, 8:42 a.m. We just had the I think it was jobless claims, and then they had a GDP number. Both looked okay. The indexes or the futures are coming up a little bit more from where they were, and the Nasdaq still looks kind of red, probably because Square had horrible earnings. Well, didn't have horrible earnings, but the reaction was horrible. And then there were a couple other tech stocks I think that went negative, but let's take a look at the S&P here. So kind of see the consolidation happening a little bit right here, which is similar to this and similar to this, and we're right below this previous resistance here. I think the action is pretty good actually, where we keep having like these little gap downs and then it just kind of stays there, maybe backs up a little but then rebounds. The action seems pretty good right now, and it's nice to see, you know, a consolidation taking place where it's just not hitting resistance and then selling off completely. So the action's pretty good. The market looks pretty good. It looks like it wants to keep trying to climb, and there's a number of stocks that keep trying to climb as well. There's the Nasdaq there, and then you can see the oscillator. For the Nasdaq oscillator, we're only at 8.34. Overbought would be 40, so we're really working off that overbought rating, but we're doing it very slowly, and I think that's pretty good. It's not going from like a 40 or a 60, bang down to a 0 or a negative. That'd be a big sellout. So it's good that we're not getting that kind of big sellout. For the stocks that I have right now in my list, COUP software was one that I found. Very high level ascending triangle. Looks pretty good. It announces earnings on March 11th. Where do I have it here? 97.08. So right around 97 area. Basically over the high there, 97.07. TTD. Now normally I want to give a little caveat on this. This thing seems to have a ton of upside momentum right now. Normally I would not want to trade this. I used to. I noticed bull flags and pennants are really prone to failure. And so I've chose not to sell, not to get into those ones, not to bother with them. But this guy, I have to almost give it an exception because there seems like there's so much momentum in it. I don't think it's going to wait very long. I would rather see like a 4-week minimum base formed and then buy into that. So this kind of was like that, because you could have said this high here was enough of a base from back here, and then this high level, and then you waited for earnings, and then you buy it out of the earnings. I didn't do that. I was probably in something else, and so I had it in my list, but I wasn't really looking to get into it. Now, after the earnings, you can just see the momentum. It's up, and it's got a nice little bull flag, totally sideways. It really looks like it's going to move. So 202.30, I think I might have 202.31 or 202.33. What do I have here? 202.30. So right over the high would be a buy, I think, if I think it's really going to move. AYR has an ascending triangle. 21 would be the breakout, so as it builds its way up to that. NUE core, I'm kind of keeping an eye on. Little bull flag, hasn't really made any move yet, but it's got the little flag on it. SANM, again, I've changed this now to a symmetrical triangle because it fell so far down there. I don't know if it'll hold that line or not. It might bounce back up. We'll see what it does. If it builds up the rest of the triangle, then it might be worth trying. And now here, yesterday I had REGN. It's broken out, but it did it on very light volume. So it's out of the pattern, but volume's pretty light. AYX, I was in and got out yesterday before the earnings. Good thing I did, because it's dropped about $3 or so. I have no idea what it's going to do. We'll have to see what happens after the earnings, but it was a pretty big drop out of the earnings. Square was the same thing. I was not in it, but it broke out yesterday. Earnings came out. They were good. I almost think on Square, it's gapping down now, that it's going to get bought, because the earnings were actually good from the previous year, at least. I got to look at year over year. So huge volume, and yesterday it broke out but gapped down on the earnings. I think it's going to get bought. I don't think it's going to get sold off unless it suddenly gets morning downgrades or something and it just tanks, but we'll see. I think it might get bought. Tesla, This was really great. Look at the ascending, the falling wedge. I even drew this line yesterday, just it was a little bit tighter falling wedge, and it really flew out of that pattern. I wonder if anybody caught this from yesterday off of my video. Maybe you didn't know about it, and if you did, where did you get in? And if you're in now, how are you going to play it? I could tell you what I would do. I don't want to do that yet. I'd like to hear from you guys. Put a comment in the bottom. Just tell me how you would play this out now that you've got such a huge move on there. And you know, I can give a comment later about what I would do with it. Netflix, I have no idea what this is doing. That's why I'm not trying to buy it anymore. Looks like a rising wedge that's going to go down. That's what it looks like to me. But it keeps going up at the same time. So, you know, it keeps holding the lower line and not being able to get over the upper line, which is falling wedge, or sorry, rising wedge. So my guess is it's going to tank, but it's Netflix. So how can you say Netflix is going to go down, right? It just keeps going up. We'll see what it does. I'm not touching it. It really looks like a rising wedge to me that's going to cause it to go lower. And then I found this guy this morning, YNDX, has good earnings and sales. I think it already reported. It was right here, this big one. And so I just want to see if this triangle will play out a bit further, and then if it'll break out. We'll see what it does. Some of these other ones that I've been watching, Paycom, right here, this big move out of this base, moved up, earnings, it still looks pretty good. Palo Alto was ridiculously huge if you held it over earnings. You know, out of the ascending triangle, the move up, the earnings. You need consolidation now. I would not be entering this at all here. See what it does out of the big jump. Probably going to need a long period of sideways action at least. It might come down a bit, but Mongo, again, more news from Amazon against this company. Like some companies are moving from Mongo to Amazon. I think that was one company's going to do that. So it got hit. It's still making money. Still has good earnings and sales, so we'll have to see. And its earnings are March 12th. There might be a little consolidation into a move out of that, although March 12th is not far away. So have to wait and see what it does. Tandem, that was a big jump. Pulled back some, have to give it time. PXD, ascending triangle, and EOG, symmetrical triangle. And again, those are oils, and I'm just really keeping them in my list to see if anything comes out of some of the geopolitical stuff that's going on around oil, any kind of a catalyst that might move them. Okay, so that's it. Yeah, I'd like to see if anybody wants to comment on Tesla, especially because that was a really nice move yesterday. But yeah, so if you like these videos, comment and subscribe, and see you next time.